Welcome back to the Future of Leadership series with the Australian Leadership Index. Today we are speaking with Susan Broomhall, behavioural scientist and CEO of Bright Research and Insights. Susan has almost 30 years' experience working in state government settings, translating community needs into social policy for the greater good. Recently starting her own business, Susan is now looking to understand how we actually translate our learnings into and for the greater good.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to speak to such an important issue as the future of leadership. And what better context than leadership for the greater good? If I could say one thing about the future of leadership for the greater good, it would be that this is the time to redefine leadership in the context of disruption. We know a lot of work has been done in understanding leadership, and leadership definition is certainly not new. What is new is the heightened uncertainty our society faces day to day, increasing our levels of anxiety and decreasing our capacity for critical thinking. At this time, we seem to all be scrambling to make sense of the new world, still potentially clutching to notions that we can, at some time, somehow return to the norm. And of course, discussion exists as to how much of the old world we want to return to. We all know and accept that life wasn't perfect, and there were certainly things we could do better, and it's now, through forced disruption, that we have to make those decisions. This includes concepts of leadership. Traditionally, leadership has been viewed as a noun, a title, a role description that assigns accountability for the direction of a company, a community, the people, the spending, etc. Someone who signs off on the next steps. For example, a CEO of a company. Traditional leadership has a top-down hierarchy, with each tier reportable to the level above. Each tier usually communicates with the immediate tier above and below in reporting fashion, and sideways as peer-to-peer. It's unlikely that the utmost top and the utmost bottom will ever cross paths, at least not in regards to reporting and enforcing instruction. But is this really leadership? What if instead leadership is a verb? What if instead it describes a process? What if leadership describes being at the forefront, leading the way by example, such as simply trying new things or being the change you want to see in the world? This may seem like semantics, but the subtle difference is critical for successful outcomes. Here, the successful outcomes we are discussing equals the greater good. While I can name a few famous leaders here, including Albert Einstein, Mother Teresa, and Martin Luther King Jr., celebrity status is not necessary for leadership of this definition. These leaders embody several beautiful common traits, but the very basic commonality is that they addressed a need in those that followed them and inspired direction rather than dictated it. They understood and met the needs of the people, aka they addressed a greater good. Additionally, traditional leadership is embedded in economics rather than socioeconomics. It uses key performance indicators as a measure of success. While measurement, data, and evidence are strongly encouraged as a method for ensuring the intended path is being taken, rather than KPIs, the measure of success should be outcomes measures based in socioeconomic improvement. This also means that the path can change along the way if it's not looking like the right way for us to go. Bluntly, there is no point reaching the X percentage mark if it doesn't end up improving the lives of people. In this age of uncertainty and disruption, we have the opportunity to move away from the old methods that did not work. We can rewrite the script. Even more so, it's encouraging that the discussions relate to leadership styles that look at sustainability and ethics as foundational. If we can embrace this opportunity of disruption to rethink rather than reinvent, then we should be looking at changing mindsets, expectations, frameworks, and systems. If we are looking at leadership for the greater good, then we need to devolve power away from a singular pinnacle point of a leader to an empowerment of the collective. We should be changing leadership into a process that is methodical, systematic, objective, and embodies diverse and critical thinking. Leadership for the greater good is about empowering others to benefit, all others. The process should use evidence, data, discussion, transparency, and peer review to test, and retest theories and concepts to substantiate decisions and directions. It has to include all voices, not just the loudest, the most accessible, or the ones that agree with us. Opinion, influence, emotion, subjectivity, drama, and personal gain should not appear in leadership for the greater good. Our future leadership enables speaking up and being heard. Our future leaders will be confident enough to step down from the top and stand side by side with their strongest opponents to co-create and co-design win-win solutions. At this time of disruption, if we don't know what the future of leadership should look like, we at least have the opportunity to consider what it shouldn't look like. It is opportunities such as the Future of Leadership series that enables us to work together to achieve this for the greater good. Thanking you kindly.